GC Fight Night Week 2. This is live. We are a couple turns behind the players. Okay, Raikou on Jinx lead. Raikou switches out into Heracross? Is it a Rorku? Like, I think the only reason you do that if you're expecting a thief, but like, still Heracross, what's left? Like, I just don't think you want Hera taking a beam, or like maybe they switch to Lax and you're expecting a Lax switch. Anyhow, going back, Nidoking. So both okay. Anyhow, yeah. So Raikou on Jinx, both switch. I understand the Nidoking because it's either a Thunder or a Crunch coming out, and then Zapdos on Hera. Then Q comes in, then Snorlax comes in on the HP. Not sure. Okay, yeah. So it's definitely HP Ice. Just yeah, you definitely let Lax in on that. Okay, that's a Nidoking. Again, it's going to have Thunder, or at least is bluffing it. Very well could be a Thief Nidoking. This is making more sense to Heracross stall team. So I do understand a little bit more Hera switching into Jinx. But even still, it's not fun to take an Ice. Like, if Jinx Ice Beam there, even though it probably won't. But it does not look like Hera is putting in much work in this game. You're going to be S-tossing Nidokings and Zapdoses. It is Thief Nidoking. It's Thief's Thunder, which is interesting. Comes in. This is going to be a fairly long game. So looking at this, Hera having its leftovers stolen isn't the greatest. Like sure, Phosphor would rather have a lefty's Hera, but Hera's not really checking anything but the Nido here. Granted, it's gonna do a great job of that. Yeah, it's gonna be Thief, Thunder, EQ, Ice Beam, which is not the ideal set for breaking into a Hera. Even if you have Lovely Kiss, it's still not great. Could still be Thunder, EQ, Lovely Kiss, but that's unlikely. Regardless, I really want to see T-Barn get spikes up. If you need to get them on Hera, you can. You're not going to enjoy taking the Mega Horn. It still really hurts. So last is going to be probably Golem and Lax. It's what I'm guessing from Phosphor's end. Gengar here is really important. I'm not sure why you go Gengar on this Fori other than to protect your own spikes, which is fair. But Phosphor is probably going to get his own spikes up first because he knows you don't have a spinner unless your last is that spinner, but it's probably unlikely. This is looking like Triple Thief stuff, which is actually pretty nice for T-Barn. It's a D-Punch, predicting a Lax switch in or just trying to confuse the Flurry. It misses. D-Punch Gar, which means it's probably not Triple Thief. It's probably just going to be two Thieves with Jinx. And it's quite dangerous for Hera to switch into Jinx to try and absorb, well, rather delay the Thief. We don't know exactly the Lax set right now. It's a mono Lax, which means it's not gonna put in like any work this game. Gengar comes in on the D-Punch. It's not gonna be D-Punch HP Water. That is unrealistic to expect. If it is, good on T-Barn. Wondering if Zapdos is Magnet. I'm hoping it's not, just for the sake of good, because you really do kind of want the longevity. Lax is low here. That's about the only thing that's taken significant damage other than the coup. Thunder with spikes would not be fun for the coup, but the spikes are gone. Lax coming in on the coup switch. Has some momentum here, but you're kind of forced to rest. The coup should be barely out of range for double edge. Not barely, a little bit out of range for double edge. So there is a possibility of thundering here. If you thunder on double edge doesn't crit, the Lax is going to be in a not fun place. It'd probably be in range of 2 thunders. This is a safer play. However, the coup has not been healed up significantly. If this Gengar can boom on the coup, T-Barn has the game opened up. If the Gengar can't boom on the coup, T-Barn might be in trouble. Yep, it is Lefty's guard because we saw D-Punch. We know it's not going to be Thief. It needs that breaking move, either Boom or Destiny Bond. Ideally Boom. If it's Destiny Bond, we might be in for a long, long game. T-Barn needs to find a way to break that coup. Getting his spikes up is also rather essential. Getting it on the EQ is extra good. I'm wondering if this is a belly drum Lax. It's not 3 attacks. As my guess is it's not 3 attacks. You'd normally run that with a Blissey, but could be put in a lot of ones. I just don't see the synergy between 3 attacks and Hera. Hera's generally with a belly drum, but belly drum double edge is a little janky. This might just be a Hera because of Hera on stall can be really annoying for things like Champ and Nidoking. I'm still thinking it is S-Toss Hera. It is going to have Rest and Sleep Talk, though. We don't know the rest of the Florey's moves. It probably has Toxic. It probably doesn't have HP Ghost here because you have a Golem, which can break through Gengar and spin anyways. So HP Ghost is a little redundant here. It's probably HP Fire, Toxic, Explosion, HP Fire, Toxic Protect, HP Fire, Toxic Rapid Spin. I think Gengar is completely free here. And I think you could just start throwing out Ice Punches. It's Giga Drain, got it, yeah. Gengar is free entry. Gets free entry on Fori. Yep, you can just start throwing out. Okay, it's Giga HP Fire, no Toxic. But you can just keep throwing out Ice Punches. You're never breaking this Fori. Not before HP fires you down too low to be useful. Oh, this could be a very crucial turn for variance. No, it is not happening. Raikou could just rest here. It could attack. Gengar is probably getting out of the way as Raikou rests. This does force out the Raikou. Now you have a sleeping Raikou while T-Barn has preserved spikes, which is really good conditions for baiting a coup and getting a boom on it. That is T-Barn's way to win, is what it looks like. Is if you can boom on this coup, then you actually have a chance with Zapdos to make progress. Other than that, you're going to have a pretty hard time breaking through Phosphor's squad. Of course, Nidoking can always Ice Beam Fish, but we're not at that point in the game. Okay. Yep. Ice Beam expecting Hera. Probably slightly better than Thunder. Yes, you do expect Hera to rest here, going Zapdos, forcing the coup in. You could have also gone Gar, though Hera can just stay in while resting in Gar's face, unless you're like Psychic Gar. Golem comes in, gets whirlwinded out. Whirlwind Zapdos can make some good progress here, especially if it's HP Water. We don't know if Fori has has Rapid Spin yet, but Fori probably shouldn't be. Ooh, stays into Whirlwind, takes a chunk from Thunderbolt. This is what you want to see. It gives you the free Whirlwind. No way Skarm is staying in there just to Toxic. Even if it has it, I think it is likely that it does have Toxic, though. Golem probably is a Rest Golem, knowing Phosphor's tendencies. Still could be Boom. I think Power of T-Barney should Whirlwind here, because Phosphor should know that this Zapdos almost certainly has HP Water, and really shouldn't risk just losing their Golem off the bat. Golem is your best way to spin this game. So it likely should be a switch to... You don't really want Q to take too much damage. You could do Lax, you could do Skarmory. I think the least likely option is an electric move from this Zapdos. The most likely was, in fact, Whirlwind. This Q is now getting beat down. The Zapdos being Whirlwind is rather crucial here. Stays in and takes the hit again. A lot of progress could have been mitigated if... So right here, I think you double instead of switch. Instead of attack. Because Q is going to be able to rest now. So you know he's probably going Q, because on that same line... Why would you protect? You're giving a free rest. I don't understand what that purpose of that was. So he, multiple times when you Whirlwind and Skarmory, he is going to Q, even when Q is getting chipped down. So at that point, when you get on the Skarm, and you're thinking about clicking Whirlwind, or Thunder, even Whirlwind would have been fine, but you could have just switched to Nidoking. Q comes in, takes the damage, can't rest safely because Nidoking clicks the EQ button. That lets Hera in, that invites Hera in. You switch in Hera, you double the Zapdos, then you get your Whirlwinds off again. Or you double right back to Nidoking, or, Nidoking. He sends in Q. Great. You're forcing Chip on the Q. You're not letting it get whirlwinded in by the Zapdos. You don't want it to be whirlwinded in by the Zapdos because it's faster, it gets to rest. And especially, I don't understand the Protect. Well, this is an interesting scenario. I was right, it is Rest Golem. I am not the biggest fan of that play because I'm pretty sure you were in EQ range from the Golem. And Golem is faster. I'm gonna actually go back to that. Yeah, there's Rest. Lax comes in, takes T-Bolt. No HP. Okay, no, you weren't in range yet. Yeah, Double Edge once. You are still out of range of Lax's EQ. Oh, yes, now you're in range, see? So, I think it's kinda stupid. Not stupid, it's really risky of T-Barn. Like, yes, you can assume Golem is going to rest, because you can assume Phosphor has Rest Golem. That's a scary spot to be in, because if he EQs, you lose your Lax. I also think if you're predicting Golem to rest, what you do is you actually EQ it, because then you have Chip on the Golem, and then it's going to switch out, and then you rest. Because a sleeping Lax is probably not as bad for, like, it's probably better to have the extra Chip on the Golem. Okay, you're gonna stay in and slug it out with the Golem. It is going to have Roar. You just gave it a spin, which is Not the funnest, but not terrible. You are going to scare it out like this. It will go out there. Skarmory probably is toxic, so you don't have good entry on Chloe. I'm not the biggest fan of that double edge there, but I understand it. But I do think Nidoking was a little bit better of a play here, but you get rewarded for it because you Whirlwind. Here's the double, but it doesn't matter. But you're trying to get in Hera, because Hera gives you a Cloyster opportunity. There we go. That was a good string of doubles from T-Barn. It is the not ideal. Well, okay, Mega Horn can do less, but it's probably going to do more than Seismic. Goes for the Surf, gets it. That was a scary spot, but now Fori's in an icky place. You can go to Gar here, but I think Nido's slightly better. He's probably going Ku. He could go Lax. He could even go Hera if he's feeling weird. But I think Ku and Lax is better. Skarmory here, not ideal to be taking that Surf, but if you can get a Toxic on the Cloyster, you're happy. However, I think you just go Nidoking. And a Ku switch predicting a Zapdos. Does that tell us this Skarmory does not have Toxic? Or maybe you're just predicting a Gar. Because if you're predicting Gar, you don't Toxic. Regardless, this is where T-Barn wants to be, able to Earthquake the Ku. But he's not going to. He should probably be switching up to Zapdos, anticipating the Hera, but Phosphor makes the good middle ground. Goes to Lax, saying, I'm not gonna let you do your shenanigans with Whirlwinding me around. Now T-Barn could go to Gar. They could just protect for lefties. It is an EQ Lax. This is a shaky spot for T-Barn to be. Takes the double edge. And Hera comes in. The Zapdos can heal off quite a substantial amount of HP. It is probably in range of 2 Seismic tosses. Do we see the Protector? Do we see the Whirlwind? I'm not the biggest fan of Thunder here. I feel like it's not as effective at breaking as Whirlwind. And if you're expecting Hera to stay in, you probably value the lefties more. Okay, he's just saying, I'm going to try and start recovering my Zapdos. He goes for the Protect. Raikou is not rested on that turn, so Raikou should be waking up. Goes to the Lax. On HP. Skarm comes in, not a double from T-Barn, just double edging. Could be a Gar here, could be a Nido. Also slightly possible that Phosphor doubles to Snorlax, anticipating a double of T-Barn. I think it's far more likely that he rests his Skarmory here. Gengar coming in and starting its Ice Punches would be reasonable. Nidoking coming, it is Toxic Skarm. Now it has to rest. It is out of range of Double Edge. But it's really hard not to rest here. It'll die to anything but EQ or Double Edge on T-Barn's team. I'm pretty sure that Phosphor's going to rest this Skarmory. And I'm pretty sure that T-Barn is going to double. He rests his Lax. Now Golem comes in, having the opportunity to spin. This is not a good, not an easy turn to block, but he gets it. That was a very risky play from T-Barn, but he is rewarded for it. However, Golem is out of Ice Punch range. It's a 5.1% chance to kill. You don't take those. It's not HP Water Golem. Gengar. So, do you pivot out to Zapdos? You stay in Ice Punch, get the crit! Phosphor EQ'd there. That is the correct play for the line that happened. I'm not the biggest fan of the risk that T-Barn took with his Gengar there, but he got rewarded for it. So he is in a... Yeah, but T-Barn's justifying that as Golem's probably in Spike's range. So, whoa, good call there. Catches the Gengar's boom. I think that Phosphor should not have, like, should have, Phosphor played fine there. You really, the reward for getting rid of Gengar is huge. But as it is, T-Barn's still not in a good position to break other than consecutive doubles. Because Skarmory is going to, it's going to have to be doubles with spikes, but other than that, he can't super break. Of course, there's Whirlwind, but I would still favor T-Barn just because you just... Also, Jinx is here, not... maybe it can get a Thief off. Maybe it can... Maybe it's Nightmare. Regardless, he's saved his Lovely Kiss. Even booming on the 4-8, T-Barn's still in a good position. Raikou can't block Sleep. Thief's the Skarmory. I think it was reasonable to Psychic there, or Ice Beam. See if the Q comes in, and then click Sleep, because you're not dying to T-Bolt. If Hera comes in, fan-freaking-tastic. You Ice Beam it. Great, you're in range of Psychic. Now he's in a more awkward spot. He has to, like, send in Lax. You can take a double edge from Lax and getting a Thief or a Lovely Kiss on it, which you would have 2 tries for Lovely Kiss. So I'm not the biggest fan of the immediate Thief there. I think you could have had a little more discipline with it. But T-Barn is still in the driver's seat in this game, but Phosphor has the ability to really force damage with that Lax. Hero on Zap gives the Whirlwind. Ku gets lower. Skarmory, it's ideal here. Switches into Ku. Is it a para? No, it is not. This is a turn where you probably Whirlwind. Okay, Nidoking is essentially the same result, except you're forced. But you could go Lax here. It's not a fun place to be. I don't love the Hera here, but I understand it. I think you have to. Yeah, it's just like you have to risk the Sleep Talk getting, because you are. It's a speed tie. You might have, like, I don't know. I don't like switching out Hera there. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but T-Barn is in a great position now that the Hera is so low. Now, how do you deal with this Lax, though? Chloe can't pivot in. Your Lax doesn't want to deal with it. Your Sleep, it's just going for EQs. The crit drops the Nidoking. Lax is low. Chloe could scare it out with Threat of Boom and then try and surf a Skarmory. Zapdos, no, it's Jinx saying, I'm going to Lovely Kiss you. What are you going to do about it? However, there is a 0 turns rested Ku out here and ready to play. Do we see a double to T-Barn's own Lax? Anticipating a Ku. Do we see a Rise Beam for whatever reason because button mashing? Do we see the Lovely Kiss blank on Ku? We see the Lovely Kiss blank on Ku. T-Barn has lost a little momentum. Interesting that the Jinx stays in here to Psychic rather than going to Lax and saying, you're switching in that Skarmory. and then doubling to something like Zapdos. Or you can even just force the Skarmory to come in. You don't even need to double. You can say, hey, nothing on your team takes on a double edge anymore. I'm going to keep clicking double edge until you don't think I will. Or until you have to click rest. Then I'm coming in with my Zapdos to bully you. Skarmory is cursing. Lax is just double edging. Slightly out of range for a crit, I think. Skarm is going to have to rest eventually. And when it does, T-Barn, if he doubles or just doesn't switch in his Zap on Toxic, he's good. He's in the driver's seat. If he gets to Whirlwind Deku, or he thunders anything else, yep, still doubling, double edging, fishing for a crit. Skarm rests. Zap is free here. Does T-Barn switch Deku? He stays in. Hard play to make because you could easily just double edge again with Lax and say, I'm going to switch to Zapdos after double edging the sleeping Skarm once to prove that you can't switch Ku on my Lax, anticipating me switching to Zapdos. But yet again, a Thunder and Deku, not whirlwinding. Granted, it's kind of hard to whirlwind that Lax, and I think Thunder's better there, because you Thunder, Lax dies. You Thunder, Lax switches out, now it dies to almost anything when it switches in. So it can't switch into anything anymore. Can't even switch into Jinx once. So I think T-Barn just has to finish closing out this game. Do you double to Zap here? That is not unreasonable. That's fine, though. You don't have to, because Skarmory is asleep. But I would probably, as Phosphor, I'd probably be switching to Ku right now. You have to, because if he goes Zapdos here, you're in so much trouble. If he goes Zapdos on you, not switching to Ku. Stays in. Does Zap Whirlwind. The crazy play here, I don't like that. That's just delaying the inevitable. Oh gosh, these guys decided to do a best of 5. I can't record all that. Not if they're all gonna be stall games, which granted, based off of these two players' preferences, there's a high % chance. There's a high % chance we see a stall on stall. Yeah, this is really just about closing out the game. Phosphor doesn't really have any, like, a good way to win other than Lax getting in repeatedly and just clicking the double edge button and getting kills. This Jinx does allow Lax getting in, but does it have Sleep Talk? Psychic Fishing for drop. No, it is probably a belly drum Lax. It has to rest. Go to your own Snorlax. That's acceptable. They're a couple turns ahead of us. They've been playing pretty quickly, probably using skip turn. They are several turns ahead of us, already on turn 117. There we go. gosh. Alright, we're at the point where we need to count PP. Chloe comes in trying to make things, to force things to happen. If you call boom right, then you get a kill. If you call surf right enough times, you get a kill. It's reasonable to stay in here and surf. However, surfing into lax is not. No, it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. Because you surf into Ku, great. We switch to lax. You surf into lax, great. Oh, he calls boom. That's game. Call it. It's over. This game is done now. A crit here with T-Bolt could spell disaster for T-Bar. He was always resting there. I don't think it's wrong to fish for that crit. However, I think there's no way for Phosphor to win anymore. Now that the Lax is rested, it's just like, you can't. You could just go Jinx here, right? Because Ku's awake. You can just go Jinx here and click Lovely Kiss and then just click Ice Beam until your Jinx dies. What are you afraid of? Getting toxic? That's fine. You legitimately could just go Jinx here and be like, we're speeding this up. Click the Lovely Kiss button. Something's taking a nap. Especially now, because you're probably not even switching on toxic. Like, not like you're gonna get drill pecked. He doesn't have it. Yep. Alright. Alright, boys. Let's see this. Are we at the point of just not clicking sleep talk anymore? Okay, Zap comes in. Great. Do we see a whirlwind? We do. If it was an electric move there, the game is over. However, it was not an electric move there, so the game is not yet over. It is HP Ice, preserving their 19 Thunderbolts. Really, Phosphor can't win anymore. Jinx gets to come in eventually. It gets to click Lovely Kiss. Something is just out of commission. Zapdos gets to try and make progress. Phosphor is probably going to run out of PP sooner rather than later. However, this Lax is getting low on the buttons. If Lax runs out of PP, Ku wins. So, this is why I'm a little bit more in favor of sooner rather than later going to Jinx to force things to happen. Because if you don't force things to happen, you're just hemorrhaging power points with this Lax. You're eating your Earthquakes up. This Skarmory is going to out PowerPoint you. It has a lot of Whirlwinds, even though it doesn't want to use them. It still has plenty of Toxics and Rests. You could force it to pop Rests like this. Okay, goes Zapdos, not on a Toxic. Going Zapdos on a Toxic there does give an out for Phosphor. At least somewhat of one. Here is the 50-50s. If he calls the electric move on the Skarmory, it is game. If it's Para here, it's probably game. Thunder misses. It's a rest. It is full Para. Thunder no longer kills here, though. It is rest on Whirlwind. Now, does he call it right again? He fails to call it right. Zapdos does get Toxiced. T-Bolt crits the Lax. And Lax rests. Speeding up to catch up where they are. They got back into a Whirlwind versus Thunder. 50-50s. Except it's not. Oh, Skarmory stays in. 2 Whirlwind. Is it Jinx? Is it Jinx? It's finally Jinx. However, the Coup is asleep, yes? Therefore, you can't make progress with Lovely Kiss. Lovely Kiss blanks on the Coup. Zax is probably coming in. The Sleep Talk pulling rest. This game is going on. There's only 8 more Thunders left on Zapdos. The Jinx is a fool. Lax is running out of rests. Earthquake, Sleep Talks, and Double Edges are fine. Zapdos is dying of Toxic. Skarmory clicks the rest button. Does it stay in on Thunder? It does not. Do we see a double to Skarmory here? We do not. We see a Sleep Talk pulling rest. We see a Zapdos switch anticipating a Skarmory, but the Coup stays in, gets the HP on the Zapdos. This is the type of thing I wanted, like I was talking about avoiding when I was saying, hey, get Jinx in. It's fine if it takes a Toxic. You get a Lovely Kiss, because back then, the Raikou wasn't asleep. You take a Mega Slept Raikou over a rested Raikou. You know, your Zapdos wouldn't have gotten Toxic. Hey, maybe you get the sleep on the Skarmory. That's fine. Lets you click Ice Beam a couple times until the Coup comes in. Great. That gives you some chance to fish. You could be fishing with Ice Beams with Jinx instead of pulling these, like, there was other routes, but now it's looking a lot sketchier. Of course, Ice Beam here, plowing Skarm, wakes up, gets the Toxic. Do you go to Coup here? I think you do. Skarmory's still plenty healthy to switch into Zapdos. I think Phosphor's won because T-Barn's misplayed too many times in this endgame. It's way messier than it needed to be. You took too many risks. There were other routes. You allowed Phosphor to make progress. If you just deny Phosphor to make progress. You did not need to waste so many power points with Lax into Skarmory. You could have gotten Jinx in on there on any of those curses. Click the Lovely Kiss button, slept the Skarmory or the Coup, and depending on if you sleep Skarmory, great, click the Ice Beam button. If you sleep Coup, great, go Lax and get the doubles. And now it's just the same thing that you were doing with Zapdos, but better, because Coup's going to take longer, and you can keep forcing these things. And then, when Coup comes up, you can allow it to wake. And if you catch it T-bolting Lax, you force Lax out, Coup is then awake. Then you can get the same line of get Jinx in on Skarmory, not on a Toxic, ideally. Then you can sleep the Coup again. I think Phosphor is in a worse position if he allows Skarmory to get slept than if he allows Coup to get slept. But I feel like that just gives you a better route than having to risk Toxics with Zapdos. As it is now, I think Phosphor has it. There's enough rest left on this Skarm. Jinx is only coming in 1 or 2 more times. Coup has tons of power points left. Skarmory has enough power points. Not the biggest fan of taking the Ice Beam there. I think you do go to Coup here. I'm not in favor of staying in and risking getting crit. I think it is slightly safer to go Coup here. Great if he switches to Lax. Great, you switch in Skarmory. If he doubles to Jinx over and over to try and wear down your Coup, like doubles between Jinx and Lax over and over to try and wear down your Coup, his Jinx dies before you can get enough chip on your Coup. So I don't think you ever stay in here. I think it is always a Raikou. I think there is no reason to have risked that crit. I don't like that play here. You're unnecessary. Yeah, no, if you get crit on Ku, you don't auto lose. If you get crit on Skarm, Lax wins the game. It's over. So I think that you never stay in with Skarm there. It is, if you get crit, you just lose. So a lot of small misplays in this endgame. Granted, Jinx could still pull it out. Nope, it's over. Well, that sure was a game.